Hi guys, in today's video we're talking about cat's toilet, the subject that's probably not spoken about very often, and in particular we're going to talk about cat litter. Like most people, we started with a litter that we thought was good for our cats, but spoiler alert, we might have changed our mind by now. Of course, these are our opinions and our cat's preferences, but in this video we prepared a scoring sheet which should help you understand what your priorities are and which litter hopefully is best for you.
For our comparison, we chose 4 different types of cat litter, and our opinions will be based on the base cat litter, which is Breeder Celect, made of recycled newspapers, and that's the cat litter that our cats have used since they were little kittens. We do have a full video about this as well, so we'll link it up here and down in the description box for you as well. The second type of cat litter that we used is wood pellets, which has been highly suggested in the comments after our previous video. And then the third one is tofu cat litter, which we were very excited about because that's something a little bit different, of a different concept. And the last cat litter that we tested is more of like a fine wood clumping litter, and we tested 𝓌𝒽𝒾𝒸𝒽 here. The types of litter that are completely excluded from our video are clay and silica litter. These are not biodegradable, they are not good for the environment, and frankly quite dangerous for both humans and cats. Clay litter can cause intestinal blockages in cats, which can even lead to death, so it is pretty dangerous. And it also contains sodium bentonite, which is very hazardous to people. With silica, it is also environmentally destructive, and that's the sole reason why we would never use that. That's why we excluded that from the video. Each litter has been given a score from 1 to 5 in 7 different criteria, and these are odor control, which is very important for all cat owners, moisture absorption, and we have conducted a very scientific test, which we will show you just in a second, tracking, which is also very important, especially if you live in a small apartment, environmental impact. So as we mentioned, this is something very important for us, and we wanted all of the litters to be environmentally friendly. Ease of use and cleaning, and also how much waste there is. Arguably most important one, which is cat's opinion, and also we calculated the cost per week. So first of all, we're going to show you the moisture absorption scientific test conducted in our kitchen, and then before we get to the score for each of the litters, we are going to show you the journey of us testing it so you can understand each point a little bit better. So our absorption test will be carried out on each litter that we're testing, and we will be using 12 grams of each cat litter and 15 milliliters of water. Pour it inside and test out how quickly and if the cat litter will soak up all of the moisture. Let's begin the first test using our Breeder Celect cat litter. That's something our cats have been using since they were born. So I'm interested to see how it's going to do. Pouring the water. So it is slowly soaking up all the water. We have mixed it together a little bit. I think it's because it's packed really tightly and it's made of newspapers. So the absorption is good, but over time, so it's not instant. There is still a little bit of water left. It looks like it does soak up everything really well, but it does take a long time to do so. We have 12 grams of the wood pellets litter and 15 milliliters of water. So we're just going to pour that inside. So this litter absorbed everything, all the water. You can see from the bottom of the dish as well. Maybe there was like a drop of too, but
that looks more like condensation rather than
and it wasn't
water.
Yeah, the whole bottom wasn't filled. So let's just mix it a little bit so you can see that it turns into sawdust, and then when it's dry it completely is like,
is that really fine?
Yeah, and it doesn't have any smell. Next up we have the tofu cat litter. Again, 12 grams of litter and 15 milliliters of water. As you can see, it covers a larger portion of the dish at the bottom because it is a lot finer. So let's just pour that into it. Oh, that's going really fast.
I was going to do a time lapse, but I don't think we have time for a time lapse.
It soaked all the water instantly, so we are going to pour another 15 milliliters, and I'm just going to pour the water on the side a little bit. Where
there's still some dry pieces.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like it's
mush.
Yeah,
looks like porridge.
Turning into a mush. It really looks like porridge, and yeah.
And not the nice one.
Smells like vanilla, so. Right, so it looks like it is soaked up. I feel like it can stick to the bottom quite easily, so I'm not sure how that.
It could be also just a little bit too much water for the litter to handle now. It passed the first test perfectly.
Yeah.
There was still some dry pieces.
It's just interesting that it's turning into like completely smooth.
Yeah, looks like cake batter.
And finally, we have the 𝓌𝒽𝒾𝒸𝙽 cat litter, and this is very fine. This is made out of the recycled wood byproducts. It's probably like the finest that we have ever used, so we'll see how that will go. Again, we've got 15 milliliters of water and 12 grams of the cat litter, and as you can see, it covers like the whole dish, and there is the thickest layer of it out of all of the litters that we've tried. So let's pour it inside. Very similar to the Tofu Cat litter, it just soaked up everything instantly. Interesting.
Yeah, but it definitely soaked up all of the water, and there's still some dry parts, like with the tofu one.
Should we try another 15 milliliters?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'm just going to add another 15 milliliters of water and see what happens. It's very wet, but yeah, it did soak.
Yeah, but the water is collected.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the best job out of them all, because this one is not gonna like stick to the cat, not as much as the other one.
To sum up, 𝓌𝒽𝒾𝒸𝙽 and Tofu Cat litters did the best. We did add another portion of water in both of them, and they soaked up everything. And on the other end, Breeder Celect didn't do so well. It finally managed to soak up all of the water from one of the portions, but it took the longest time to do so. Right, so the first one we are trying today is the wood pellets, and I've got the bag here. It is huge. It is definitely the biggest bag of all of the other cat litters that we're going to try in this video. So this one is called Platinum Plus Wood Pellets. We haven't actually researched which brand we're going to go for, and we just went to Pets at Home, and a lovely gentleman that was shopping for his own cat recommended us this one. He said it is, in his opinion, best in terms of tracking and absorbency. So these pellets are huge. They are actually really big. So we're going to open this. We have a clean litter box and 2 interested cats. So let's try this one out. Okay, so first impression, it does smell really nice, but there is definitely some dust because I can feel it in my nose and I can see it all over myself. I don't know if you can see that, but there is quite a lot of dust coming from this. As you can see, the pellets are really big. So some of them are almost 5 centimeters, almost 2 inches long. So we'll see how the cats are going to get on with that one. Definitely, I can't imagine it bad with tracking because of the size of the pellets. So obviously it would be really hard for the cats to actually take it out on their paws. So I'm really interested to see that. There might be a little bit less of a mess on the floor each day. So we'll see about that. One thing that I want to notice, of course, with the smell, the wood smell, that is really nice for me, I would say, but I don't know how the cats are going to take to that, because it is quite strong and it is a lot different to what they're used to. So we'll see what's going to happen. I have decided to add a little bit of the current litter into the mixture as well, just a little bit, just so they know that it is still the place to pee and poop, and it will just be a little bit more familiar. Right, so we have finished with the wood pellets bag, so we are going to try the next cat litter. Just a few other second impressions, not first impressions, are that we do generally like it. The tracking is very minimal, so there really isn't much tracked, just a little bit of the dust. But the large pellets are not coming out of the litter box. I think it is because they are a bit heavier, so they don't get stuck to their paws as easily. But our cats may not like it as much. I don't know if it's the smell of it or what it is, but Bluebell doesn't like to dig in it, so he actually jumps up on top of the litter box and just digs like on the hood, so like tries to cover up his poop or pee on the hood of the litter box. So that's quite funny, but yeah, I think it might be quite stressful for him. And Pixie just tries to avoid being in there, so she just goes in, does her business, and then jumps out straight away. I have cleaned the litter tray, and we have the new litter to try out, and it is the Tofu Cat Glitter. They do have different scents of it, but I wasn't really sure on that, so we just got like a natural one. And on the back of it, it says no tracking, soft, inhibiting bacteria, and it also shows that it is clumping cat litter and it can be flushed in the toilet. So it's quite good because that definitely makes it a lot easier to dispose of it. There is no other like plastic and bags and things like that involved in getting rid of it. So yeah, in terms of the size, it is quite small. Looking at the photos online, I imagined it a little bit bigger, but it is very tiny. So I'm really interested to see like if it actually wants to track, because the size of it looks like it can perfectly fit in those tufty toes. So the bag is resealable, which that's nice. Oh, actually, it does have a smell.
Does it?
It smells a bit like vanilla cake. You should smell it.
Okay, I'll smell it. That smells like when you go fishing and you use this like you use it to like attract fish. You make bowls out of this like it's like a almost like a cake mix. Like you make bowls out of it and you throw it in the lake before fishing. Smells exactly like this.
So hopefully that attracts cats as well, because I really don't want them to be like to hate this as well. And then yeah. Okay,
yeah, put it in the litter box.
Yeah.
So how much of this one do we need to put in?
So it says here 5 to 6 centimeters, which is pretty much what we normally do, but I think
like
we would be using a lot considering how small it is. I think we'll leave it at that. It's not 5 centimeters, it's probably like 3.
But that looks like it's enough, to be honest.
It definitely covers the tray, and like when they stand on it, yeah, that's fine.
He's going in, he's the brave one. Still unsure.
Oh.
Yeah, you've got this, buddy. We've got all 4 posies inside.
So gentle. She's being so cautious.
Look how gentle.
Okay.
Final posy.
I mean, she did get in, so that's fine.
Cool, so we had some success since last night. One of the cats actually went and used the litter box. We've got some pee inside here. It clamped quite nicely into like a little bowl. The only thing I would say, it did actually stick into the bottom, so I had to like lift it up to release it off the bottom. But it didn't leave any like residue left on the bottom, so that's okay. As for the tracking, it's just okay. Cats have been in and out a lot, so they've left some outside, but other than that, all good. Okay, so we're down to our final litter to be tested. This time we're going with 𝓌𝒽𝒾𝒸𝒽. This one is made out of wood industry byproducts, so it seems to be quite good for the environment since it's not purpose made. And all we have to do now is fill up the litter box and see how it goes. I can see straight away there's quite a lot of dust coming out when filling up.
And it's very fine.
Very fine. Okay, so we're going to make sure that it covers the litter box nicely. Oh my god, so much dust. Whew. Whew. I don't like it.
We'll see if Pixie likes it. There we go, Peter straight away. Pixie accepts it.
You can't see it on the camera, but there's still a lot of dust in the air. Whew.
I can smell it as well. So,
That went everywhere.
oh no.
Okay, so it soaks up the moisture quite well. Oh, she's still running.
I think she got a little bit
Pixie.
poked out. Oh, Pixie, you okay?
As for the first impressions, this is the tracking after 1 night of using it. I think that's quite a lot actually. And the mess inside is not the best either. So this is obviously something wet on the side, but it turns into like a pulp. But other than this tracking, there's also some left here. So Mom left her yoga mat out upside down for the night. And this is the mess that we have on the mat now. Not the best so far.
This is the first time taking stuff out of the litter box, so it clumps up really well. You do have to be a little bit careful not to like destroy the clumps. But yeah, it clumps up well, but there is a lot of tracking.
Okay guys, bit of an update. We just had a bit of an incident. We're currently in the middle of testing the 𝓌𝒽𝒾𝒸𝒽 litter, and we officially have to stop that because Pixie had a bit of an accident. What we noticed that happens with our cats, when they walk inside of the litter box, when they smell this litter to like, you know, cover the tracks and everything, it goes up the nose and then they like sneeze and they really dislike it. So Pixie, I just saw her do this, like she got really stressed about this litter going up her nose, and she ran out of the litter box just in front of it and she did her business there. So we're going to go back to one of the litters that they really enjoyed, just so we can think about the results of this and find out which litter are we going to order and continue to use so they don't have to stress too much now. Clearly she's very happy about going back to the well-known litter and she's performing a test. And now the results of our test. This was probably like the longest project that we did because it lasted over 3 months.
Yeah.
So we're quite excited to actually find out which litter we like the most.
Yeah, definitely. And some of the results are actually quite surprising and definitely not something that we expected from each of those litters. So it was really cool and very interesting to do that. And I would also like to thank Pixie and Bluebell for being so patient, because for the most part they were so good with us just giving them new litter every few weeks to try. So first of all, my most surprising point for Breeder Celect was the moisture absorption test, because when we were using it I never saw any paddles at the bottom of the litter box, so it was absorbing things, but in our test it took a really long time, so that's why it got a really low score for this.
I think this only shows that we had a certain idea of what good litter works like, but only until we tested it and compared it to like different litters, then we knew like what good looks like.
Yeah, definitely.
So hopefully that's what this video is going to give you, like a baseline of what good should look like.
And there is nothing worse than getting a different cat litter and finding out your cat hates it. So that's one of the things that happened, as you saw. But yeah, so it was quite important for us to find something that worked well for our cats as well. Another point that we should explain, because we lost the footage of that,
it happens,
is the cleaning and ease of cleaning of the wood pellets litter. Because we don't have the sifting litter tray, it was actually quite difficult and time consuming for us to clean it, because you can't just scoop out things. It turns into sawdust and you have to actually sift the whole thing, the whole contents of the litter box into another tray and then put it back into the litter box. So it's a little bit time consuming. I guess if you've got this huge tray, it will be quicker, but it's not something that we were used to, and that's why for us personally we scored it so low in that particular criteria.
And I think if we were committed to go with the wood pellets going forward and use that as our litter, we would probably get the sifting tray.
Yeah.
However, I still think that there would be a lot more work to do than when you compare it to like different litters. They're so much easier to use. Yeah, I wouldn't like to play around with like different sifting trays and like put it here, put it there, and it's just a lot more work that I wasn't willing to put in.
I guess it's good because you don't waste the litter. But another point here is that our cats just didn't really like it, didn't enjoy it. So if they loved it, then I would look past that and continue just sifting. But because they didn't really like it, then
keep sifting.
Yeah.
What I personally found surprising and I wasn't expecting is the cost of use of each litter. So I thought the tofu was going to work out to be the most expensive out of all of them, purely because of the volume of the bag. It was really small, and the high cost per bag. But turns out that it was actually somewhere in the middle. It was hard to judge the 𝑓𝑚, which we had to disqualify after one day or one night of using. So we couldn't give it a first score. But if the most important thing to you is the cost of use, definitely go with the wood pellets because they're less than half of price of the other ones that we tested. In our opinion, tofu is like nicely priced somewhere in the middle, and it's like it represents a good value for money.
Definitely, yeah, because looking at the bag, you don't think that it will last a long time. But in terms of using just one bag of litter, it has lasted the longest because we had it for 6 weeks. Just this one small bag, because there is virtually no waste when you clean it, and you can easily scoop out everything.
Now when it comes to the odor control, which is very important to us because we live in a fairly small apartment where we kind of always close to the litter box. Tofu definitely outperformed out of all of the litters that we tested, and let me tell you why. Purely because it didn't let the litter tray to start to smell like ammonia, where other litters like the wood pellets, they did well because they were masking the odor of ammonia. The tofu didn't let it start to smell like ammonia, and somehow, some magical science behind it, it probably like was stopping the bacteria from growing, and that's why it did the best job for me out of all of them.
Just to explain the points for 𝑓𝑚 as well, we were very excited about this one because we loved how it's packaged in a paper bag. It's also made of wood byproducts, so it is so environmentally friendly, biodegradable. But unfortunately, you saw what happened. It could be that it might work well for other cats, but unfortunately for our cats, they really didn't like it. It wasn't just the fact that it was going up their nose, it was also the fact that they really hated it sticking to their paws. So this is why you saw Pixie on video jumping around, because she just didn't, like, she couldn't stand the litter being on her tufty toes. So that was quite sad. So this is why we gave 𝑓𝑚 3 points for all of the areas that we couldn't really score based on our personal experience. So we got 3 points for odor control, ease of cleaning, and the cost per week. But as we mentioned at the beginning, it is our personal opinion and our cat's preference. So I do hope that some cats do love that because we love the idea behind the brand.
Yeah, and they had a great marketing as well. I love the marketing. They have really cool Instagram.
Yeah, really cool.
That's why I wanted to like it, but since cats disliked it so much, we just couldn't put them through this. Anyway, that's still on, even though we gave it 3 points for all the things that we couldn't score it on, that still places it on the last place with 20 points. What I was surprised to see is that the Breeder Celect and wood pellets received exactly the same number of points, but for different reasons. So again, that shows how different litters will be better for different people, where you have different preferences and different cats, exactly. And it's very clear to us who the winner is. We are going to stick with the tofu litter, and probably we're going to go on a quest to find the best tofu litter out of tofu litters.
Yeah, definitely. So the one that we have ordered, unfortunately, it became out of stock suddenly now that we were trying to find a link for it. Since then, we have ordered the same brand, but the different like scent of it, which is similar but just less potent, I would say. But Cat It has just released a range of cat litters, and they do have Tofu Cat Litter in their offer, so we will definitely try this one, and we'll also have a look at some other brands too.
So this is the end of this video. I know it was longer than you probably expected when it comes to picking the litter, but I think this is one of the more comprehensive videos that I know of, because we watched some of them before we got cats, and we tried to answer all of the questions and all of the things that we wanted to know before we chose what litter we're going to use. So I hope you have a really good understanding of what good looks like when it comes to the litter. So that's all we have prepared for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.
Bye.